So before I begin this review, let's get one thing perfectly clear, and it's very annoying with this movie. Jordan Peele did not direct this movie. His name may be all over the movie, but on the poster it says from producer Jordan Peele, not from director Jordan Peele. Very strong difference between the two. Everyone keeps saying, oh, this is a Jordan Peele movie, and I saw the box office this weekend. It's like, wow, it underperformed for a Jordan Peele movie. This is not a Jordan Peele movie. It's Justin Tipping's movie. Jordan Peele only produced it. So with that out of the way, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So Him was directed by Justin Tipping and produced by Jordan Peele, and it stars Tyreek Withers and Marlon Wayans, and it's about this young athlete played by Tyreek Withers named Cameron Cade, who wants to be the GOAT, who wants to be the greatest football player of all time. So he gets the opportunity to train with his idol, Isaiah White, played by Marlon Wayans, and he learns that there's some really freaky stuff that's happening at this compound, and there's more sacrifice to greatness than he expected. So anytime Jordan Peele is associated with a movie, whether he's directing it or in this case producing it, don't forget he produced this movie. I'm always going to be fascinated. Jordan Peele is one of those voices in horror that I'm like, okay, he's doing stuff that's very different, very unique, and for the most part, people do want to see it. At least directing wise. His producing efforts have been very not as successful. I did like Candyman, I liked aspects of Monkey Man, but this movie, I was looking forward to it because the trailer looked kind of interesting. It looked like it was going to be a unique sports movie. It's like, oh, a sports movie with a lot of horror elements in it. Kind of like I saw a comment somewhere. It was like, oh, this is kind of like Black Swan, but for football and for guys and such. Like, that's actually a pretty unique idea. And so I saw this movie a couple nights ago, and if I'm being honest, I am very let down by this movie. This movie is very underwhelming. It has a lot of really cool ideas, but I felt like the movie itself just didn't capitalize on any of those ideas, and I feel like it's a Jordan Peele movie in name only rather than a movie like this is a movie that kind of would come out because Get Out was so successful, and it's like, oh, because Get Out was so successful, we can touch on these other ideas and we can talk about these various things. But instead of being like Get Out, we're not going to be very subtle at all. That is the big difference. A lot of people don't get that a lot of his movies were actually pretty subtle compared to some things like Him. So let's start off with some things I do like. Some of the actors do try. Marlon Wayans is trying to give a good performance. Julia Fox has a few good moments here and there. There's one sequence I thought was actually really good. It involves basically a training thing where it's like if Cameron fails, someone else gets hurt. That I found very interesting. I felt like the way it was edited was very well done. I thought it was very intense, and I was like, this is actually kind of what I want this movie to be like. It's actually really good. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie can't live up to that. And I do think that the movie itself looks absolutely stunning. The movie has gorgeous cinematography. And also, I do think there are a lot of interesting things that this movie is talking about. Like, what is the price of being great? What is, ideas about celebrity worship? All these various things are kind of like coming together for this one movie that I do think are very fascinating. The only thing is that not a whole lot of them are developed properly. And I felt like they were trying to do way too much with this movie. The movie is only about 90 minutes long, which I feel like if this movie was about 2 hours long, maybe you could get away with a lot of the stuff that you are trying to do in this movie. But let's talk about some of the things I don't like in this movie. First off, some of the performances I thought were kind of off. I have no idea what Marlon Wayans is trying to do half the time. It's like, is he trying to be funny? Is he trying to be serious? And I felt like it was just kind of like a stark difference between the two. Now, comedians, I have seen good comedians, do good things in dramatic works, like, Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, even Adam Sandler. But Marlon Wayans, I felt like he couldn't match up to it. It's like he was trying and not trying at the same time. Tyreek Withers, I also found to be kind of dull as the lead character. I did not find him very interesting. I did not find his character arc to be that unique. Also, something that really annoyed me about this movie is that throughout this movie, they're saying, Marlon Wayans' character is the GOAT, and that Tyreek Withers' character, he wants to be the GOAT as well. We don't actually see them doing a whole lot of football in this movie, which I found very annoying. It's like, how are these people considered the best of all time in their sport, and yet we don't really get to see them do things that are like really amazing? How do you fail at that? I don't understand. Like at one point very early on, a young Cameron Cade is watching Marlon Wayans' character play football on the TV, and then it cuts back to him. He's shocked because of something that happens to Marlon Wayans' character, and he's on the floor afterwards. I'm like, okay, I guess that set things up, but we don't understand why he's great. You just say he's great, but you don't understand why he's great. It's very frustrating. You ever hear the phrase, actions speak louder than words? Or in some cases with movies, show, don't tell. That's a very... How do movies not understand this? How did Jordan Peele not understand this? He does show, don't tell very well, and yet this movie doesn't. And also, the movie is not very scary. It's not very subtle. It's not very scary. Like, there's more jump scares in this movie than I would have anticipated. If you had told me that The Conjuring 4 was going to be scarier than this, I would have been like, you guys are crazy. And I was somehow wrong in that. Wow. Also, the movie is not very subtle. Jordan Peele's movies, at least they can be they're subtle compared to a lot of movies in the industry these days. But there's one scene in this movie involving the lead character. He's giving a speech, but then it cuts to a wide of him, and then there's people on both sides of him, and he's got, like, antlers sort of on top of him. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, movie? Your movie is as subtle as a sledgehammer. It is annoying. Why? Why? I get why, but why? Also, the tone is just very inconsistent. I can't tell, like, what kind of movie they're trying to make at times. Are they trying to make a very serious movie about all these various subject matters, or are they kind of trying to make a campy movie? It never really picks a lane. And I feel like it could have worked one of two ways, but it kind of wanted to have its cake and eat it too, and kind of be like, oh, this is very serious, searing social commentary, but at the same time, we're kind of campy, and we're going to be ridiculous at times. And I also feel like there are a lot of missed opportunities with some ideas. Like, there's some things about the coach that could be really interesting, stuff with his agent that could be really interesting. Even Julia Fox brings up a joke at one point that was like, that my friend went to me, is like, I can't wait for that to come back in the plot. And it never comes back in the plot. You missed that. Like, you could have missed that opportunity right there. There are definitely a lot of ideas that are going on in this movie, but I felt like they didn't really have an idea of, like, where to actually take these ideas. Again, there are a lot of themes they're talking about, a lot of celebrity worship, about how people struggle to be great, and, like, what is the sacrifices that people make to be great and such. But I feel like it's just way, way too much at times, and I feel like this movie exceeded its grasp and didn't fully take advantage of all the ideas it was trying to make. I feel like the best way to describe this movie is that it's a Jordan Peele movie in name only. It clearly wants to be one of his movies that basically kind of says something and actually tries to stand above other horror movies that don't really say as much, tries to be an elevated horror movie, but it doesn't understand what made his movies fascinating to begin with. The characters were interesting. The themes were interesting. It blended everything perfectly, horror and comedy. This movie doesn't, unfortunately. And I feel like it doesn't understand what made Jordan Peele's movies great, and yet he's behind this movie in a sense. Again, he didn't direct this movie, he produced it. And the final product kind of shows, unfortunately. So him, even though there's one sequence that's pretty good, even though there are a few interesting ideas in this movie, and it does look absolutely gorgeous, and there are at least a couple performances that are at least trying, some of the characters are just not very interesting, particularly the two leads. I also don't think it's very scary. I don't think it's very subtle. We don't even get to really see them play, so that's very frustrating to me. The tone is off. There are a lot of missed opportunities with the ideas and such, and a lot of plot points and such. There are too many ideas where nowhere to go. Also, it just got very lazy at one point, and they actually have a shot of Marlon Wayans when he was, at least when he was at a movie premiere, and it showed him for a couple seconds. And I'm like, Everything Everywhere All at Once did that too, but it kind of got away with it. But this movie is annoying. Annoying is a strong word. Just very disappointing, and just, it could have been something that's really cool. And instead, it just feels like this movie that is trying way too hard in areas where it didn't need to, and failed in opportunities where it really needed to. I will give him 1.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. Honestly, I did want to like this movie. I was defending this movie up until the moment I saw it. I'm like, okay, how bad can this movie be? And I'm like, yeah, that's how bad. I only say stream it because, again, there are intriguing ideas and some okay performances, but overall, it's just kind of a waste of time. So, him, what did you think about it? Also, what is your favorite unique sports movie in a way? Since it's a horror movie in a sports movie as well, that's kind of different. What did you think about it? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.